a snowball, and most importantly, we want to be able to take your space aggressively. So expect to see a lot of blood in this game.
In your face is what RRQ Akira wants to get at against NIP Flash, who, by the way, had an amazing game too against Evo's Glory just earlier. Now we'll see if they can take that momentum into the Land of Dawn, into potentially a sweep, because that's what we're looking for. Again, it was mentioned by our analysts that points are very scarce now, and they are super duper important, because again, we might end up with as bad as a four-way tie.
I remember we were talking to Zipper earlier, right? And he was mentioning, hey, there's so many different possibilities that could happen, but all of which will lead into a tiebreaker. And I think for RRQ Akira, oh no, this could be first blood if Diablo finds the opportunity. Doesn't use the Petrify, luckily. But I don't think he wants to walk up any further than this. And even in the mid lane, you can see that both sides really want to find that first blood early. The Terrify's going to keep him alive, and Cortese ends up losing his Purify pretty early on into the bout.
Wow, both sides not shy to go ahead and use the resources this early on. That was barely a minute in, Gideon. That was a barely minute in. Looking at the battle spells, I'm still not making most of it. The bottom, ooh!
He finds first blood there. Great calculation from Diablo. Timing that Petrify to deny him, but Luis wants to find the trade and gets it back.
There's a reason why they call him the Brazilian Heartbreaker. Amazing instincts from one of the veterans of RRQ Akira. As I was saying, man, I want to make the most of the first opening minutes where there's not much action, trying to make sense of the battle spells, trying to make sense of, oh wait, they're going again?
Yep, they want to get another kill here for Hades, and he finds it. A great off-tempo play coming up from NIP Flash.
Oh no. If there's anything I can read from Takashi's face, man, he's not liking that. I wonder, though, is there a way to make it out of that way, Luis?
He wants more. I think he's just going to go down here. Diablo tries to dive an eye for an eye out of there. Less than an HP. Hades should live this, while Vanix on the opposite side already getting chunked out. JPL now getting involved in the matter. Diablo wants to go back in, but he's on level 4. Hades does get the initial knockup and bounces out with the spatial migration. Sagan still alive for the airstrike coming in for Cortese. Not taking aggressive angles. He still doesn't have his Purify yet.
Just like what Sirio Forel told Arya Stark to the god of death, what do we say? Not today. No one fell despite the amazing amount of mechanics and skills put out down there. That was an ult 2 from Cortese. Now back to the action. Again, a lot of very offensive battle spells, rather emblems for NIP Flash, and it's the battle spells for RRQ Akira on the other hand that's very offensive. All flickers, no purifies. They don't fear the Petrify from Diablo, so now another big fight.
Yep, Hades already finds 2 with the Magic Thump and combos it well with JPL to allow Cortese, and a clean execution of a team fight. 2 immediately down with the Electo final blow as the icing on top. But even when we look to the top side, Vanix ends up biting more than he can chew. Does take the shadow from the Spear of Destruction, but will still fall down to Gusta La Gusta.
Okay, so if there's any redemption for the Brazilian squad here, it's up top. It's the gold lane, because again, they lost Turtle. Mid lane, Saigon is having a hard time. Down bottom, Takashi's already died, what, twice, thrice now? And it looks like maybe Gusta La Gusta can be their one hope, their one shining beacon of maybe a mid-game power spike, because this is a Roger we're talking about.
Of course, and it feels like they're going to leave Vanix on an island by himself, because a lot of times we're seeing that Hades is rotating down towards Takashi's side of the map to maybe find another kill to speed this game up. In the meantime, though, I will question whether or not RRQ Akira is going to start shifting resources. But then again, here comes the Electo Final. Once more, King makes it out of there, and that's an early Tortoise Poissons in trade for the Feather Airstrike.
And I get it. As RRQ Akira, despite Saigon being nearby and maybe Gusta La Gusta being able to respond either way, they respect the current status quo. We have to play defensively. Circling Eagle used on the 1. Spots Luis. Bouncing ball the response. Which, by the way, I'm hoping for a lot of big things from this Kufra. Much like an Edith, Kufra has a second skill that acts like an ult. Oh no, at the bottom, Diablo.
Oh, the flicker as well from Takashi. Misses the stun as well, Diablo. He's out of the situation. He's cheated death once again.
He's out of his mind is what he is. Remembering his Paquito from the previous series, he's just taking that momentum, the speed, the mechanics, the precision on this very mechanical demanding hero.
He wants it. Luis wants it. Doesn't commit the flicker to it just yet, but here comes the full dive as King is trying trying to stop them from actually retreating. Feathered Airstrike as well being popped out towards Gusta. Gusta gets canceled out, and finally that should be the end of this. But no, JPL, whoa, he's in trouble, ends up dying to the stolen Feathered Airstrike from Sagan, and Hades, this is all he can do, right? He doesn't have the damage just yet. Oh no, Diablo looking for an opportunity onto Sagan, already using the Petrify as well. Without the final blow, there's no means of getting out, and even for Hades, he might have bitten a little more than, wait a minute, hold on, he makes it, and Vanix is back into the fight. He ends up finding the first initial trade before Cortese is there to support him. They're really tracking this out, and they might just get the kill. King survives.
Wow, all throughout that bout in the top lane, right underneath tier 2, the front line from NIP Flash was actually trying to take down this turret, and they almost got it. If it wasn't for the control elsewhere, hold up. What? Where was the push? What happened? Oh, down bottom, what?
Yep.
We haven't looked at we missed out on Tekash for just a minute, and he worked.
Yep, he was putting some good work as well.
He got it.
So technically, I would say that this is a pretty fair trade for RRQ. They're still slightly behind, but here we go. Luis gonna open up the map. We gotta calm down here. These fights, they're going to keep on happening, and JPL spots every single member of RRQ Akira. They get the initial knock-up with Hades. He wants a little bit more, despite spacing everybody else to conceal, and it looks like RRQ want to re-engage into this fight. Even Takashi with the bravest fighter as well. They do find Cortese, and it's too late. He's already down. Great catch by Luis. Vanix, he's gonna bail away. It looks like NIP Flash just gonna back off.
All right, we're looking at a turtle, potentially the second one. Both teams are actually taking their time with these major objectives because they're so focused on fighting, and the Brazilians get one. Getting this out, can we say that now we're at equilibrium? Looking at the gold, looking at the map, RRQ Akira have survived the early game.
Yeah, considering everything that happened down on the bottom side, like, this is great recovery. It shows maturity from this Latam squad.
All right, looking at the gold diff again, Gusta La Gusta, right where he needs to be against Vanix. Luis, well, again, as the Kufra, when you're up against Matilda, you're really giving up more to your teammates, and you're allowing for these assists more aggressively. Check this out. King against 2. Luis taking control of the river.
And here it comes once again, the Feathered Airstrike and the Stolen Feathered Airstrike back in response. They do find the initial kill, but can they get a bigger trade? Luis does end up finding the kill on towards Diablo, and Vanix takes him out, but Gusta Lagusta is still on the chase. If he gets GPL, that's a double instantly. A 3-for-2 trade in favor of RRQ Akira.
Me gusta this rabid Lobo. He's still going.
Oh, and he gets Vanix as well. Make that 4-for-2. So worth it. Let's look at the STC replay.
Wow. It started off with a relatively shaky response from RRQ Akira. King going down first, but then again, it was the bouncing ball. Luis held him down. Yes, he did trade for his life. It started off as a bad engage. They were down 2, and then eventually the cores from RRQ Akira came through, and that's what you saw in that replay. Player cam, Luis was like, yes, that was good, that was good.
That's what they need,
in
right?
Portuguese.
In Portuguese, of course, naturally. But I think this is the problem, right? Initially, NIP Flash said, hey, with the amount of items, with the amount of damage, we're thinking about 2 cycles, rotations of our abilities. We want to use them at least twice in a fight. And RRQ Akira are now catching up to that idea as well.
Yep, they are ahead about 1,000 gold here. King continuing the aggression. One of the reasons why Baksha is one of the few jungle utilities that actually flourish in this current metagame is despite being down, despite being behind, his kit doesn't change. The way you engage doesn't change. So that is a level of consistency you can expect even from a team that's playing from behind. But that's a problem that RRQ Akira has no longer to deal with, because now they're kind of ahead. Even if it is NIP Flash first to the scene, Lord here approaching half health, gets a soft reset. King knows Hades is around. This could be a potential 5v5. I love how Tekashi is taking control of that Y bush.
Oh, yeah. They just got to make sure that these choke points are going to be clear, right? And I think that even for King, his objective, he's still looking for Cortese, right? A large majority of this game has been, can we hit the mid game without having to take too much damage from the Feathered Airstrike? And if they can get another Purify out of Cortese again, I think RRQ Akira can replicate their previous fight.
And river control now belongs to NIP Flash. King spots one in the pixel brush, the committal.
All right, but Hades out of it instantly. Luis just short, just 2 inches short from catching him. But now the rest back away. Diablo does get the Malefic Roar, so this is going to be a pretty big power spike for him as the Benedetta. As long as he has that Electro Final Blow plus that Petrify, squishy backlines could be in trouble. Hades gets the initial Magic Thumb. King, he's going to start zoning away. Feather Airstrike is already up. The stolen one is dealing much more damage, and Lagusta kills Hades. Now on top of Vanix, dodges away from the Spear of Destruction, as well as deep positioning from the sideball. But Diablo, he finds King. Cortese the next to fall with the help of Takashi, but most of the time, when we look at the kills, it's 2-1 in favor of RRQ Akira.
And now they make a beeline for the Lord. 2 core heroes plus 2 chunky enforcers putting up a barrier. Yep, they're going to commit to this. I don't think NIP Flash can actually fight it. SOD off of cooldown. Can't even think of using that. Huge win for the Latam Kings.
Rather surprising that they were able to come out on top in that fashion, right? You would imagine that when we're talking about Takashi and as well as Diablo, there's a pretty big difference between the two gold-wise.
Yeah, now we'll wait to see until the gold spread shows again. And in the items, we'll notice as well how far each role is from the other. We're approaching a 2K gold lead now for RRQ Akira with the Lord marching down mid. Here we go. Oh, I love how despite having a hard start, King has just great damage coverage right now.
Yeah.
He has the Antikiras and the Athena Shield. Do your worst, Hades. Do your worst, Kurt.
Yeah, he can't get 100-0 here. And that's the important factor. As long as he's able to frontline for his team, red tree or not, if they win the team fight, they're going to make this trade worthwhile. And it looks like RRQ Akira are going to start sieging the tier 2s, cutting off supply routes and reinforcement pathways for NIP. But I think at this point of time, right, it really boils down to execution. Here comes Luis once more trying to open up the map. And oh, Hades, he saw the Magic has got canceled. He can't seem to get out of there. He gets locked down by Takashi as well, as the rest of the team tries to zone them away. They cannot save him. Diablo even committing to try and cut them off.
Hades on the Guinevere is not a free casualty. That's not a hero you're just willing to give up willy-nilly. And now they're looking at all of their turrets outside their base taken down. Takash cutting it through, proxying it from behind, and that's the wave crashing on down, taking that last turret. About a minute and a half until the next Lord comes through, and maybe the one way I see NIP Flash contending for that is through an SOD and a full-range Feathered Airstrike from Cortese. That aside, every other bit of engagement that they have has to be very cheeky. Again, they're not looking at like a Cho, they're not looking at like a Atlas is out of the meta, but you know what I mean? Like how it's a full, a Grok. They're not, that's the thing, again, in hindsight, I think our analysts will go deep in it, especially if they win. The Grok ban by Coach Cabral, now the fight!
Purify instantly, Cortese tries to reposition as the rest of the team is just taking damage. Vanix is already down. Gusta Lugusta isolates him. Oh no, even the stun connecting from Takashi. They're connected to the Kala here. Everybody is one. RRQ Akira takes an amazing trade 2-for-1 again.
Gusta Lagusta, half man, half wolf, all rabid. 7-1-6. About half of RRQ Akira's kills come from this young man. I cannot believe how well they protected him. And his one death is all the more worth it now that they're looking at a penetration. Cortese with a Feathered Airstrike.
Yep, he's going to clear up these waves. They're going to protect another inhibitor. It's important to keep them all up, especially on that first Lord push as we start moving towards mid to late. And it's a scary situation, right? Because it feels like RRQ Akira, they don't have to be so execute heavy on their comp. They can play their time.
If anything, they can ram themselves into NIP Flash with this gold lead that they have. About 5,000 now, Gideon, approaching 5,000, and here we go. NIP Flash for the first time in a while, looking for a fair fight, looking to contest. Lord, a tenth of its health.
They're going to try. The attempt is there. The stuns on that front line doesn't allow Hades, but Hades steals it. He's out of there with the spatial migration. Cortese as well manages to get on out of there. They find 2 and the steal. RRQ Akira fall fate to just daylight robbery.
That's what they call big money moves. Gusta Lagusta getting shut down. That's 6 killed worth of a bounty for NIP Flash. For Hades.
Oh my goodness. How did they turn that around, man?
The gold lead. Kaput.
Oh, I thought RRQ Akira were connected, right? They could see the map like the observer view, but unfortunately, all their attention was so heavy, and I think maybe they made the call a little early.
They need to be more together. And now King takes a few volleys from Curtizi as if the early to mid game spike did not happen. NIP Flash now in control. Look at how they manage the waves. It's immaculate. It's all blue now.
Yep. I mean, this is the Singaporean classic, right? They're known for their heavy macro style.
And their cleanliness.
They cleaned up
house, son. Look at this.
It's spotless. It's truly spotless, but let's see if they get an inhibitor. The Feather Airstrike is already out, and King has lost at least a quarter of his health. They should be able to defend this, but at the cost of at least just one inhibitor. Now, here comes Takashi. He's trying to clear this wave as hard as he can. Rage Blade now activated to get him out of the situation, and they managed to defend one, but here comes the second wave. Now, bottom side, still taking its time. JPL doesn't find the angle just yet. It's Diablo looking to clear up the rest of the map, and there we go. A clean defense at the cost of one inhibitor.
Looking for that hero play from Astro Thunder Takash. We saw him just persevere through an early game, endure through 3 deaths in the first 5 minutes. Now he has to level up!
Oh no, Hades! He's been caught! The spatial migration won't get him out of there! Gusta Lagusta, little health he has, manages to survive on top of the pick. And now, NIP Flash with a man down. They managed, actually, I don't think it's that bad. Hades goes down, the next objective isn't going to spawn in time, and it's 2 inhibitors.
The young Mark Lazaro, a local of Pasay City, Manila, sacrificed himself for that bottom lane tier 3. I'll take that deal any day. Especially with how, you know, still back and forth these fights are. I'll take it any day. Oh, wait, conceal play. Conceal play!
Oh, then maybe I might find something here. Curtizi able, with Wings by Wings, get on out of there with the help of JPL. Stays pretty topped up here. But I agree with you, right? He died for the greater good. And that's very much like the style. As long as they're getting clean trades against each other, economical trades, it's worthwhile.
Don't do it if you're Vanix. Don't do it if you're Kurt. Hades can, maybe Diablo, 50-50, but do what you need to stop RRQ Akira from snowballing out of control. Now, so far, despite having lost 2 team fights back-to-back, RRQ Akira back on the hunt, taking control of these odd Y bushes. I wonder, well, what could be the play here, Gideon? Like, they're controlling the other half of the map as if they have a diversion. Is it because they're just that fast? They can just rotate that fast? Oh, no!
Oh, they're rolling in. King, he's trying to get on out of there. Manages to get out. Like the final blow! On to Luis, taking him out. Now the backline has full access. Gusta Lagusta is trying to get away, but Vanix catches him with an SOD. And now saying he's on the run, but it's too late. They have to throw bodies at the wall. They break 2 immortalities, and Takashi, he's out. There's no way. He's alive!
Did, but he did! And Curtizi looking to go hunting, wins by Wings, no one home. Despite surviving what should have been a lethal engage, RRQ Akira is still not very happy with the results of that team fight. Look at this once more. NIP Flash just welcomed Luis with open arms, melted him like he was a baby marksman. That is a Kufa you're looking at. Treated him like a level 1-1-1.
Yeah, and you can see Gusta Lagusta, he's like, man, I just got clipped at the very edge of it. The very edge. His spacing was good.
To be honest, he was getting away with so much in the first 10 minutes of the game.
That's also fair.
Just like and pounce here, dash on through there.
Casual instant karma.
Iframes, you know. Not this time. It was bound to happen. Now, they gotta defend.
Oh, here comes the bait here from King. Luis unable to catch anybody just yet, but that's the Feather Airstrike as well as the SOD. They're not going to take it this time round. They need to sync up with the rest of the waves. They've got 2 pushing waves, but one slower and the other faster.
Oh, these are Mayor waves, man. Big, empowered minions. Plus a Lord up top. Feather Airstrike stolen by Saigon, doing his best. I can feel him sweating, man. This is tough.
Yep. I mean, I think it's even more annoying for NIP Flash here because they're looking at this and like, man, I can take another inhibitor, but really, I just want to crack open the crystal. But if I jump too hard, Luis could punish. Here comes the conceal. Luis behind the crystal and try and make the play. Doesn't find anybody just yet. Slow motions. Hades gets the knock up onto Luis for it. Now he like the final blow being committed as well. The petrify out to Gusta Lagusta. He's down. Diablo finds the pick of a lifetime, trading his life for higher. And that's NIP Flash taking this game. That's 1-0. Nicely done by the Singaporean reps.
Amazing Aikido performance from NIP Flash, the champions of MPL SG. finding that hip toss right in the late game transition and getting RRQ Akira caught him with their pants down, suddenly wondering where did it go wrong. Gusta Lagusta was a monster.
He was a monster. And it's interesting because they shifted their priorities. They're like, okay, no more King. We don't care about your mid laner either. Sagan, you're out of the question. Let's take out Luis. And if Gusta Lagusta walks up a little too close, then we hit him with the Petrify.
And you see it in the young man. He's still contemplating. He's wondering, what did I do wrong? How'd they get me like that? Let's throw on over to our analysts to try and break down what exactly happened in game one. LaFell, it's all you guys.
Dude, what was that game? That was intense, man. Talk about back and forth. And this entire game, I had doubts when I was like, oh, NIP Flash doesn't get this, and then RRQ Akira, but they don't get this. Like, this is one of the most 50-50est games in a while, Wolf.
Yeah, we saw that. There was already the Roger hitting his power spike. This will be a triple kill. But eventually, there will be a shift for NIP Flash. They will not put Hades into the front lines anymore. In fact, it will be their second unit. And this time also, JPL was able to save his teammates many times. And you gotta have to hand it to the winning plays coming up from the Benedetta. I believe that Diablo just really wreaked havoc this time as the gonna be the devil, the Singapore devil that was a big problem for Gusta Lagusta in the mid game.
I gotta give it to Vanix, man. Vanix, I think even from this last series to this series, Vanix has just found his timings so well throughout these games, especially with that Moskov.
Dude, let's talk about the Singaporean devil here, because we've seen the gold laner being the carry, correct?
Yeah.
We've seen the jungler being the carry hero, correct?
Yes.
But now we're starting to see, even in the EXP lanes, like, yo, let me do the damage. Like, this all-star team coming in from Singapore, they're really diversifying, saying, we don't need Hades to carry, we don't need Vanix to carry. Even Diablo, just give him a damage dealer, he'll do it.
He went in for full damage build. I think the only quote-unquote defensive item here is the Festival of Blood emblem, and then eventually the Rose Gold Meteor. But he went for Sky Piercer, Blade of Despair, all the damage in the world. He knows that he needed to be the problem for Gusta Lagusta, which indeed he was. And Sky Piercer is definitely a good item to have when it comes to damage dealers, like the Benedetta Assassins, for example. I don't know if he got a lot of stacks in there, but I think the 4% mattered so much, even when it was just an assassin, you know?
I mean, like, to be fair, the only tanky ones were Baxia. Takashi, honestly, on the Lapu was pretty tanky. He survived that one engage that I feel like he shouldn't have. At that point, if Diablo chased after him, he could have been done for. But what do you think about the victory for NIP Flash here, Trex?
I think they continue to just kind of show up, I feel like, even, and not only in their gameplay, but in their draft, picking up the Guinevere. They're not scared to kind of break down some boundaries, consistently doing different drafts. It doesn't seem like they're just stuck to one concise play style. Even there, we see some support with them, with the Matilda, and they've been able to just make a lot of things work. Even in terms of earlier late game, they can always kind of find a spike. You can never really count them out, it feels like, right now.
A lot of I guess if you just look really deeply into the game, there were a lot of minor mistakes that could have been different for RRQ Akira then. For example, Sagan copying the Matilda in the last clash, and obviously Gusta Lagusta in that spot being hit by the Spear of Destruction eventually. The Kufra being completely ignored by entirety of NIP Flash, because we know that the Kufra works well versus Guinevere, versus the Moscow, but what they did was to just ignore him. Allow the bouncing ball to be the front lights. Let's go to the back parts.
I mean, like Trex said, like, even if the Kufra is good, but late game, Moskov goes what?
Brrr.
Goes brrr.
He goes brrr. No, it's got to be a little more brrr.
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 Oh, he does invest, man. Like, my tongue doesn't work.
Moskov goes brrr.
Brr. I can't do it.
Brrr.
You got it. We'll get you there.
It's kind of like brr and then bruh.
Exactly.
Brrr.
Yeah, it's very USA, you know.
Either way. It's very USA. We got to talk about how NIP Flash, they have 1 foot across the door here, because one more win and they secure, they advance to the knockout stage, where RRQ Akira, if they want to survive, and I'm talking about surviving for the chance of a potential tiebreaker, they need to win this one. If they don't, then lights out. It's done.
Yeah, they could have won game number one. I think some of the jitters the nerves really fell into this, especially after losing the matches that you were supposed to win. And I think that loss against Farflux definitely affected them. They were making mistakes in this game that you will be surprised about.
I mean, with that being said, honestly, we got to look at the MVP of the game, the Sony MVP of the game, where it's Hades. It's probably Hades. Let's actually check out some of the clips here, because again, NIP Flash in the early game, Hades
Yes.
was able to get the advantage, but again, props to RRQ Akira for getting the advantage back.
Yeah. So this is one of the more important ones, like the turtle that eventually came into Hades' hands. And then he will feel very comfortable because he has the Matilda frontlining for the team. But then eventually they will learn that frontlining for the Guinevere might not be the best scenario. I think that he might be the second unit. Like, allow Matilda to just get the vision and then eventually come in when the coastline is safe, you know?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think Hades, he bought time in the early game. He made it so the gold never really got away. So even when there were points of RRQ, coming back around here in the mid game and even taking the lead, if we take a look at the gold, it's never a huge lead, right? NIP Flash always had a little bit of something in the game. They always had a little skin to deal with.
Yeah, there it is. Definitely Hades. As Mr. Leo would say, a local from Pasay, because Hades' moniker back in the Philippines was Batang Pasay, which means a kid from Pasay.
Oh, that's
Basically, Pasay is more like it's a cutthroat kind of. Part of it is a cutthroat, you know. I wouldn't say it's like hood or something, but yeah, he's a kid from Pasay, and he definitely looked like he's a hoodlum or a gangster in that gameplay, you know.
Interesting choice of words, but either way, it's definitely an amazing showcase by our Singaporean All-Stars here, because one more win and they secure to the knockout stage. But we talked about this. When we feel a 1-1 is coming, a 1-1 might be coming. Like, do you guys feel it? Do you guys feel a 1-1?
100%.
I mean, I feel like if it could happen, if any 1-1 could come, it would be Group A.
Yeah, Group A is insane. Group A is the group that could push us to a tiebreaker. Just a very quick one for you guys wondering how the tiebreaker is going to work, where we're basically going to have a best of one round robin, where it depends on the play time. The one with the shorter victory time, you get to relax a bit, but the one with the longer victory time, you guys have to go up head-to-head again. I'm just letting you guys know, just in case if we go for that kind of situation, so you guys can already start discussing it in the comment section. But for now, we have to watch game number 2. RRQ wins, there's a chance. There's always a chance for a tiebreaker.
That's right.
And it's crazy. It's not just a 3-way tiebreaker. There's a possibility for a 4-way tiebreaker. Actually, no. Now that it's not a 2-0,
now that it's not.
it's 3. Now it's 3.
It's a 3-way tie, but nevertheless, I'm just very happy to see the duel between the Astro Thunder
Yeah.
and the Singaporean Diablo. I think it's very interesting how we look at the duel between these two players. We did mention it's like that a triangle between Arlet, Teresa, as well as Yuzhong. But then we saw Benedetta versus Lapu-Lapu in this case. And there was a time where Tekashi won. There was a time where Diablo won. It was a good back and forth between the two XP-laners.
Again, I kind of feel like for this game, I almost want to say it's about a draft, but looking at how NIP Flash has been playing, can you really try to figure out a draft? Because I did not see the Guinevere coming, right? They could have more surprise picks, but at this point, I would say that NIP Flash does have a good standing here, so maybe they could hide a little bit of some strats, like maybe don't show every single crazy pick that they have, or you guys feel like might as well let it out?
I mean, with the way they've been playing, I feel like, I don't even know if all of these are exactly pocket strategies. I think they just feel comfortable, and I think we could see a lot more for them. If they 2-0 here, they go on to the bracket. We get into the real best of fives and things like that. NIP definitely, I think, has plenty of variety in their system right now.
It's MSC, man. I don't think that you should be hiding strats. There are a few chances. For example, just losing one series 0-2 might just really just forfeit your chances at getting to the playoffs. And then the knockout stages are also, cutthroat because it's a single elimination. So I don't think that hiding strats is valid for any team now.
What if they don't know they're hiding strats?
Well,
right? What if they just don't have the strats yet? Right? You don't know. Maybe they're like, after today, they go play rank here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and then they're like, yo, Yisun Shin.
Yisun Shin is the king.
Is the king. Right? Who knows?
Zask is the king, you know?
Zas Jungle.
Zas Jungle.
Okay, they might be too much.
That's Gold Lane?
But here's the thing, if Zas Jungle happens, clip it. We called it.
Yeah.
You look like a genius.
If it doesn't happen, still clip it because the fell will do push-ups. I mean,
No.
yeah.
No. Anyways, we're about to jump into the draft here where, again, for all intents and purposes, technically, RRQ Akira has been eliminated, so now it's more about other teams, you know, like going the way that RRQ Akira wants it to be for it to be a tiebreaker, but technically, they're out of the standings.
So what does that mean here? Do we think that they just, do you think they surrender? Do you think all the pressure's gone now and maybe they get the dub? We see it happen a lot, the
Go
teams that
loco.
are out. Yeah, that's...
Go loco. Go.
You're coming with me type of mentality.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, exactly.
That happened quite a few times already. I believe it was also it was TOB.
Oh yeah, he has. Yeah.
Yeah,
You remember that, right?
TOB.
Yeah, I do.
I remember that.
That was
I don't-
Homeboys, right?
I don't like talking about M5.
Why not?
Why not?
Same reason I don't want to. Never mind. Let's take a look at this draft, guys.
Well, either way, the draft is sure now. RRQ Akira is going to be first pick. NIP Flash second pick. It looks like the same suspects, the usual suspects. The Angela and Lane getting banned out by RRQ Akira. NIP Flash banning out a chip as well as the Lu Yi. Looking at Gusta using the Roger. The Roger definitely does look strong, but they got to watch out for Diablo. Whatever Diablo picks up, even if you have an S-tier marksman, S-tier gold laner, you can't feel safe.
Yeah.
Especially because he's probably going to be the one using the Sky Piercer. So I feel like the tricky part going up against the Singaporean All-Star is going up against the Singaporean Devil. You know that he's going to be the carry, but you have no idea what kind of heroes he's going to pick up.
Yeah.
He might even pick up Lancelot for all we know.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy, but crazy enough to work.
That's loco. As
That's
you would
very
say.
loco.
I think you probably ban the Roger now if you're NIP Flash unless you are prepared again for the
Or ban the
favorites
Faramis.
of Valentinas was the Faramis. Yeah, Faramis is also one of those heroes that I do like to see.
I think the Faramis has answers. I don't know if it needs to be like on ban right up front.
Yeah.
I think the Roger's solid. Valentina's open now, and we've seen that be a popular first pick.
Harith as well. I wonder if RQ is interested to get that for their gold lane. I believe he's one of those heroes that are also really good when both Roger as well as Moskov is down, as well as the Ling. So it's like you increase the tier of the Harith just because the other heroes are already banned out, so it's difficult to answer now. But I believe NIP Flash, what they usually do with this is go for the Fredrin. So that could be a pickup. Fredrin Arlet perhaps for NIP Flash this time.
Honestly, we have not been seeing a lot of Arlets. I kind of feel like that's also part of the meta shoutout here, where on paper it's good and we know some teams are excellent with it, but we haven't seen a lot of it. So the Farsa and the Cho is going to be the pickup here.
Yep.
And again, looking at MSC is surprising, maybe because I don't play mid, so I thought this would be a dangerous meta for Farsa, but Farsa has really been flourishing.
Yeah, the access to the crown, I guess, the adaptive, the winter crown is great. Loads of damage, obviously blood wings as well, and it really wins the lane matchup, or winning it by just fast clearing. If you get my meaning, it's impossible to freeze the Farsa in the lane because of the rage, which now gives us the idea where you can go for Grok Vexana if you're RRQ,
Or you Zom.
for that, or again the dragon.
Right? I mean, like,
It feels like people just aren't first
Right?
phasing
That's
EXPs lately. They're
weird.
letting it all get banned out.
Oh, Fairness. Woo. Against a Farsa Cho. Okay, can understand it. I advise against it. This means though that the Harith is just such a good pick now for the side of NIP Flash.
the Harif is good for NIP Flash.
Fredrin, sorry.
Fredrin, all right. Yeah, the Fredrin coming in from... What about a Boxia? Is Boxia still an option here? Oh, Hayabusa.
Okay.
Against the Faramis?
No. Okay. Listen. It's weird, but trust me. The Hayabusa can counter Faramis. Sounds weird. You want to know how it works?
How?
You quad shadow on the Faramis, right? And then you don't even need to use your ult. You just have to use basic attack, use your first skill, force out the Netherrealm out first before a major fight, like say Turtle or anything. Basically, you can commit, use all of the resource, and then once they have nothing, and your cooldowns is much shorter, and then you just fight.
So you're not countering it in a sense of during the fight. You're
Exactly.
trying to force it out before. So if you can shadow kill onto Saigon here, he pops it to survive, and now it's out before the fight even happens.
I've had this experience. You don't need Ogi Shadow Kill. Even 3 basic attacks, the fireman is very low.
Yeah. There's the Banana Arlet, as we did say that it could be a good pick for Sadafa of NIP Flash. I'm still wondering what the mindset is for this Hayabusa. I do know that Hayabusa is great versus Harith, right? And the thing is, Faramis plus Grok, very strong in the mid lane, but when it comes to hard CC, they're not that reliable. Obviously, Wild Charge is great, right? Flicker Wild Charge. But against Assassins, that's usually not prescribed because it's definitely difficult to land. For example, a Flicker Wild Charge onto the Hayabusa might be baited easily. So maybe that's the idea why NIP Flash decided to go for this Hayabusa. At the same time, they're kind of hiding their Diablo hero. But I'm still thinking Lapu-Lapu is great for NIP Flash. That could be their last pick.
All right, so I mean, NIP, I don't know, I think they could, do they go for gold laner here, right? I think Claude could be the right answer, right?
Claude's great.
To the Faramis.
Beatrix is great.
Beatrix, decent. I mean, either of those two options. We've seen them both kind of thrive right now in current meta.
That's right.
EXP, for the first time, we aren't seeing the Rizzler or the Dragon banned out right now, unless that ends up being the final ban here. So definitely a good possible answer. RQ, on the other hand, still needs a jungler. They go for like the alpha, like what NIP did against Evos?
Yeah, that could work. Julian also looks good. I think Julian's great versus the Farsa.
But wouldn't that make RRQ having too much magical damage, right? Because now they got the
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
The Harry of the Firemen, and then plus the Julian. I'm not against it. Trust me, I'm not against it. It's just that
it's Harry Potter all over again. Yeah.
Harry Potter's dead.
So maybe maybe Nolan.
Oh yeah,
super active.
We haven't seen a lot of Nolans, huh?
Yeah. So I'm thinking Beatrix or Claude here for NIP Flash. Another I would say game changer might be Irithel, which I have been forcing a lot in the past few days.
You've been wanting it? You've been like waiting for it?
Good?
Yeah, waiting for the Irithel pop?
Is it good? No.
Okay.
White people are not picking it.
But Wolf wants to see it.
I just want it. Yeah.
He wants to see that augmented reality Irithel.
Exactly.
I don't think we're gonna see it though. So
Ruby is great versus Harith.
Rubis.
That's great. In this scenario, you're thinking like, okay, this is Ruby Gold probably, and then the Hayabusa will go to the
I don't know, we've been
jungle.
wrong about Ruby Gold the
That's-
past like 3 games in a row. We keep going, this is going to be Ruby Gold, and then they just throw in a gold laner anyway.
That's true.
what if they do something crazy? Cho goes EXP and Ruby goes Roam.
This meta has us all messed up.
No, I mean like this is Diablo. If it's gonna be anyone, it's Diablo.
Yeah. Yuzong works for RQ, I think. They pick up Paquito. No, please pick up Paquito. Because what happens now is that this is what we call in the Philippines Esmeralda Ball.
Esmeralda Ball.
Yes. For NIP Flash.
Now we gotta see if Singaporeans call it Esmeralda, Lisa Esmeralable?
Lisa Esmeralda. No, it's
not.
scary. Yeah, it's not. So it's not gold.
It's carryable.
Carryable.
It's carryable. It's definitely carryable. Right now, looking at the drafts here, I would say we had a lot of crazy ideas, but so far it goes to the more standard kind of route.
Yeah, I know. Like we really overthink it.
We really overthink it now. Casters, I hope you guys don't overthink it because we're going to pass it over to you guys. Good luck for this one.
Thankfully so, we did not. Thankfully so. Despite all of the twists and turns in the draft, NIP Flash and RRQ Akira end up with a reliable draft. Both sides. Lil G, what do you think?
I mean, personally for me, Leo, I think that you're the more cool-headed one. I'm looking at this and I was suggesting to you, hey man, there's a possibility this Cho could go into the EXP lane, man. Diablo could have shown us some extra cool mechanics, but now, looking at both lineups, honestly, I think that RRQ Akira, they can hold some ground.
Especially since they have a good front line and a solid amount of burst. of both varieties, physical and magical. Let's get into game number 2 again. Despite what this means for the Brazilian squad, their draft tells me they're still here to play. They're still here to put it all out against NIP Flash. So let's expect a great match from both of these teams. World-class MLBB on display for Game 2 in the 3rd series of today's broadcast. Check it out. Look how deep Luis wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, he knows. He's just time. I mean, JPL's trying to time out the power of nature, but here comes Curtizi on the Wings by Wings, getting a really good trade onto Sagan, trying to target him down. Great target priority from the side of NIP Flash, but honestly, when I look at their composition, I'm thinking about the instigators, right? JPL and as well as Hades. Once they hit level 4, I'm expecting Sparks to fly, to try and get RRQ Akira. Like Lefel mentioned, use the Netherrealm as early as possible.
Yep, force it out of time. Put them in a position where they don't have a reliable source of a re-engage, more health bars to work with. Looking at the opening items here, interesting how Sagan actually invested in the tough boots first. So he knows he's gonna get kicked, he knows he's gonna get rocked, get hooked, and I guess that spells out the fact that maybe RRQ Akira might go defensive.
I feel like NIP Flash are the ones who might have to play defensive in the earlier stages of the game, right? Well, that's under the assumption that RRQ Akira has the resources to kind of push the limits. But for now, with 16 seconds left on the clock, we're expecting the mid laners to get involved in the EXP side. And yeah, you can see Sagan, he's rushing to catch up.
Oh, where is he? All right, cool. He was sent home. That's a technical knockout, but again, no harm, no foul. No one went down just yet. And Curtizi making it first, and he is going to see all of this first wave. Sagan too, so yeah, that's just about, what, one small minion that Curtizi's up ahead.
They're trying to get level 4 as soon as possible, but it looks like RRQ hit it first. And PFL in position. Hades steals it away. The second time he's done it in the series alone. But JPL finds the kick of lifetime on towards the correct target. Luis, without the power of nature as well. They don't even get the opportunity to get the return on their investment.
Didn't even go for the flicker. I think a part of Luis knew that he was going to get hit. There's a lot of ults. Maybe hope for a few more battle spells, but he did force JPL to get the kick in. Now Gusta Lagusa solo killed underneath tier 1. The shadow kill committed there by Hades.
Great punish for NIP Flash, right? After finding these plays, and especially when you have that man advantage, you're just looking around to see if you catch anybody slacking, and unfortunately, that was in the gold section. And Diablo, from what we were expecting him to play with the Benedettas, the Paquitos in the previous times, now he's on Ruby. It's for Takashi, I guess he was hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, but of everything that NIP Flash brought to game number 2, that might be the question mark. For me personally, I'm like, whoa, why? Why the Ruby? Now, Curtizi popping the Death Strike, forcing out King and Sagan to respond. Man, this is tough. Outranged RRQ Akira, JPL!
Yep, it looks like he just got caught out of position. Way of the dragon onto Gusta Lagusta really doesn't matter. Still falls down at the end. Looks like Luis finds the trade and the revenge for earlier.
All right, that doesn't really close the gap just yet, but it allows for RRQ Akira to get more farm around. If you'll remember, about a minute back, King can't even cross the river. Now Takashi in trouble, 2v1.
Oh, this is not good. Hades, he can easily pick this kill up. They're trying to isolate that way, but on the top side, Gusta Lagusta ends up dying again. He ends up getting stunned. Without any purifies, he won't be able to make it. King looking to try and find a trade anywhere. JPL will get a... Oh no, the kick doesn't come through. He gets hit by the energy eruption just before he can pop it off.
Imagine, even if King is one of the chunkier members of RRQ Akira, if you get kicked in that tier 1, especially with how long the fight has gone, yo, best believe King would be dead.
Absolutely. This is going to be a fast turtle for NIP Flash. Still riding off the momentum off of JPL's initial kick. But man, we haven't seen any of these tier 1s collapse just yet, or at least melt away. Oh, hold on. Hades is dead. He just goes down. Great wild charge from Luis, catches him in the middle of the animation.
Yep, the turret actually tracked him with that one last basic attack from the major objective in mid. Now JPL trying to get out of dodge here, going through that Guardian's barrier, checking out the items. That's tough, man. It's just Saigon actually who's able to breathe for RRQ Akira. And of course, Luis by a small margin, but you don't want your roamer to be up ahead. Like, that's the last role you want actually doing well.
Oh, considerably annoying, but what can you really do about it, right? You'll take any of these kills and you'll take as much gold as you can. It's always greatly appreciated, but still, when you're up against a carry, no matter how scaled up you are as a tank, you will eventually die.
All right, I was just looking at JPL, and we were talking about how only fast comes up really quickly. Dude, all it took was a little shuffle for him to get it back.
Look, I mean, the changes on the fast rate. While charge comes through, JPL should be able to make it up. He's got it back again.
He's got it back again!
I'm telling you, I did the math on this, right? And especially with those one-trick ponies on Cho EXP, he can get 2 rotation. He can get 2 triggers of his passive now. It's so easy to hit.
I want to see his mid-game items because I'm just imagining Thunderbelt on a Cho. Right? Imagine that. You're stacking only fast, you're stacking those enhanced basics, and you're getting permanent hybrid defense. Here we go. Item check on him. Corrosion sight so far. On to Vanix in mid. Tekash dueling with Hades. He's fine. He can afford to do that. Starlium Scythe onto Gusta Lagusta. So he's hungry, but he's eating okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like he's dominating this lane as well, and let's not forget he's... Whoa, hold on. JPL in some trouble, gets pulled back by Shadow Stampede, forced to flicker away as Gusta Lagusta ends up getting chunked by Curtizi. Nobody ends up dying here, but yeah, let's pull it back, right, for a moment, because as Hades is going to be able to take this turtle down south, Vanix is actually 2 levels ahead on top of Gusta Lagusta.
Yeah, again, gold might not be his biggest problem, it's actually EXP. The 2 deaths on this Harith early on cost him that XP loss, cost him the dire position he's in right now. I mean, he still has a turret, right? The map isn't as small for the Harith as it could be right now if NIP Flash were a little more aggressive, but they don't need to. Actually, they're just calling the shots. They're happy to keep it at about 2,000 gold ahead here.
Yep, it's the cold calculation. This is the Singaporean, traditional Singaporean playstyle, which is kind of uncanny looking at NIP Flash, who has like a Hayabusa, and as well as the traditional, you know, signature JPL Cho, where they like to be aggressive and like to snowball out of control.
I call it Singaporean fusion.
Singaporean fusion.
It's traditional, but it's up to date. You know, it's
a modern day fusion.
There you go. It's for 2024, you know? The kids love it.
Oh, man.
Call it Singaporean fusion.
Singaporean fusion. All right, that's something that might actually stick. We'll see with their community, but here comes the wild charge. JPL still trying to get on there. 3 hits of the G Kundo, as well as a Shunpo gets him out of there. An interesting play coming up for the side of RRQ Akira. Nobody else wanted a flicker.
Got hints of Filipino, a note of Japanese.
Oh.
That's Singaporean fusion for you. In control still, about 3,000 gold ahead, give or take. Oh my God, Hades just committed Grand Theft Orange.
He's just utilizing the space. RRQ, if you want to stick together like the kingdom that you are, we're gonna start stealing your resources.
They gotta be together, man. More together than ever, because I think that's one thing that Gusta has been able to do. Oh, wait, what's the Kush do? All right. He hasn't really been able to dance on his sword. Ain't no good Zaman Force just yet. They've always been defensive Zaman Forces.
You know what? You're right. And I think it'll... Oh! Curtizi gets Gusta Lagusta before he can even respond. Especially once he literally just hit his power spike. He got one item and it was like, all right, let's go. Let's blow him up.
We were just mentioning how all of his ZFs were defensive. Oh no, there's a kick.
Way of the Dragon, but also the Netherrealm pops out, and it doesn't really matter because without the Netherrealm, Hades is going to start chunking away with the Okisha. Oh, Diablo, don't tell me he dies here. He heals. Oh, he manages to get out of there. Thank the wave saves his life.
El Guapo Diablo have yet to die, man. 1-0-1. You know what? Sometimes when the rest of your team is this ahead and this in control, you don't mind just being a nuisance. You don't mind just being a damage sponge for just a bit.
Oh, he's trying, he's locked down, and Gusta Lagusta picks up the kill as Vanix is the next to fall as Tekashi punches him down with a 1-2. Gusta Lagusta secures a double.
It's been a tough 10 minutes for RRQ Akira. For the first time, they actually get a winning trade. That's the first offensive Zaman forces gusto na gusto agad, right? So if only things were better, if only, here we go, one more time.
Ah, Luis pulled the trigger too early and even tries to go for the Nature's Bear outside the map. NetherRealm to try and escape here. Will they get out of there? Hades gets knocked up. What? He ends up dying. He didn't even bother using his all JPL now on the run. Ends up another 2 kills fall into the hands of RRQ Akira on the Lord push.
Never count Gusta La Gusta out. I was first made familiar with this young man in M4 in Jakarta, and here, all the way across the world in Riyadh, he's showing us, hey, I'm gonna lose the early game, but after my power spike, best believe I'm gonna make you pay. They're still defending though. They're still on their back foot, but it's looking great for RRQ Akira now. They are down about 1,500 gold. What's the items looking like?
Well, considering their position right now, it's pretty phenomenal that they actually bounce back similarly to how NIP Flash was playing in game number 1.
Gideon.
Why?
HC incoming, HC incoming.
Oh, is he almost there? Oh, he's already got the 3 wands. He just needs a little bit more. Hades does get the Blade of Despair. Hopefully that might make a difference now rather than later.
Ouchies. Yeah, that's definitely a power spike for the Hayabusa.
Hopefully they can do a little bit more than this, right? Because again, as NIP Flash, they need to snowball out of control. They might just get outscaled at the very end here. These tanks are going to be very useful for the side of RRQ Akira to buy some time. And there's the Holy Crystal purchase.
Oh Lord, he's full on Harry Potter now.
Oh boy.
Gusta, you're a wizard. Vanix working on this turret. Tekash spots him, trying to punish that gold laner.
Oh, Vanix, he is getting so low, and now the full rundown. Hades in the back, tries with the quad shadow, but they managed to get on out of there just in time. Great peel from NIP Flash.
All right, Hades in the back, Akihiro-san in the front. JPL doing great work here, but can he stop RRQ Akira's forward march?
Diablo, he's able to sustain through this. Hades, he's going to try again. This time, doesn't get hit by the knockout strike by Tekashi. Gets out of there with a quad shadow. No kills just yet. And even so, Luis still standing guard. Hades tries again, once again with the quad shadow. Doesn't find it just yet. Despite it all, he isn't the Warcry user. He is the Lethal Ignition user. So he has to take these trades according to that talent.
Yeah, it's full-on burst. It's not the sustainable kind of Hayabusa where you don't mind the fight going 10-15 seconds because you have that window of opportunity where even your basic attack is lethal. Now, Lord spawns, second Lord of the game in the upper quarter of the map. NIP Flash scoring the Little Wanderer early, giving RRQ Akira a little sum to deal with. Bottom lane, it's a battle of XP laners. Astro Thunder and Diablo El Guapo going at it. Ooh, misses a hook there. Oh, here we go.
Well, he should be fine unless we do see Gusta Lugusta get into the fight. Sagan ends up dying here. LaFell might just be onto something on this one. As much as Assassins get countered by the NetherRealm, if it's forced out early, man, these Assassins, they can really push your buttons. Feathered Airstrike from Curtizi, trying to deter the rest of the members as NIP Flash just target down King, stalling this out, and they want Luis as well. They're going to find as many as they can, but here comes Gusta Lugusta with the Holy Crystal, able to start cleaning up, finds the double kill, and as well as Vanix. They don't have the time to finish this. Can they get it? Hades finds the Lord, and now they're trying to get out of the way, but Sagan, he doesn't mind, stick closer together. Diablo finally out-sustaining everybody in this fight for Curtizi. He can get the mega kill. That's a full wipeout. NIP Flash with the Lord, 3 for 5.
Curtizi, not even ashamed to use the Feather Dash right now to clear the waves. Pronto, double time, marching down mid. Let's check out the replay once more. Gusta Lagusta, amazing response, but way out of the fight, the range from the actual fight that was just about to happen. And Hades let out an amazing ult right where it mattered. And then it was too little, too late. Diablo, he was a silent killer here, man. No one noticed that he was able to deal that much damage. Now Luis in trouble, got the kick.
But King is able to bail him out of that situation. Luis, he doesn't mind dying, but at this point of time, every single one of these Death Timers are really going to hurt, especially when you have Lord Empowered minions pushing at your inhibitors.
Look at this. El Diablo Guapo with a hybrid build. War Axe, Sea Halberd, Queen's Wings, Oracle. Building immortality, if you ask me, up next.
Well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense if he does put it together, right? Unless he gets greedy and thinks, you know what, Brute Force Breastplate is the way to go for the extra cooldowns.
Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep pushing forward, right?
Forward combat.
Personally, for me, I do think that Queen's Wings is the recent hot item for a lot of these EXP laners, right? It gives you so much, but here comes the I'm Offended towards Kingside. Oh my god, he's getting melted down, but Vanix doesn't get that last auto to proc in time. The Netherrealm saves him. JPL does get a good G-Kun Dome, but doesn't find any targets whatsoever. And now the Light Wheel is dealing mega damage here with the help of the Oki Shadow Kill. Hades finds one. Hades can get a second Feather Airstrike on second rotation again. He gets him. JPL now extending this lead, handing his hand over to RRQ Akira just to fish him out.
Worthy trade. Any day I'll take that. The roamer for 2 heroes, the jungler, and a gold laner. I'll say it now, RRQ Akira, one of their only hopes is if Gusta Lagusa gets a good dance in. If he's able to lay down the Zaman Force underneath the turret, maybe take 2 for 1, 3 for 1, that's it. But looks like NAP Flash not gonna let that happen.
Yep, Hades, he gets stunned, but the Oki Shadow Kill. So much damage with the lethal ignition. He's out of position. He'll eventually die, and Luis finds him at the cost of his Wild Charge. Diablo, he's gonna take his time with this. I'm offended by some extra time. He's sustaining through the damage, but Gusta Lagusa will still run him down. That's 2 inhibitors down, 15 minutes into the game.
I'm wondering now how RRQ Akira will adjust to what kind of damage NAP Flash is bringing, because at some point, yeah, you can build your Antique Karasses, you can build your Athena Shields, but you're also dealing with true damage, man. Well, I haven't really seen Vanix do much, save for that maybe Shred in that last long team fight, but he's still a threat. And who does RRQ Akira send to fight that kind of threat, man?
I think it's about position of where the fight happens, right? I think they need to catch them at a choke point. I think that's a big thing, because right now, NIP Flash, with a lot of space, they can hit them from multiple different angles, and RRQ Akira have to decide. Here we go. Here comes the Lord JPL. Oh, wait, everybody gets knocked up, and Luis is the one who gets it because of the anti-CC. Oh, my goodness, he Power of Natures to secure the Lord while people are in the air.
The Brazilian Heartbreaker strikes again. Could have sworn NIP Flash orchestrated a perfect steal, but then again, RRQ Akira, I don't know if they thought that through or if they saw that coming, but hey, they got away with it. So
Dude.
at least they walk away with an extra life.
They walk away with the extra. Oh my god, he purchases the Brute Force breastplate. He's only moving forward, Diablo. But man, let's bring it back to that. I mean, 4 people, 3 from the side of RRQ Akira, plus JPL
Like
gets
a tramp.
knocked up.
It's like
I don't think it was intentional.
It's like a trampoline. He just did what he felt was right in that moment.
Oh goodness. Oh, maybe they have to change the indicators to be extra bright so that people don't get hit by it often.
I'm okay with the way it is.
Really?
It's an art. It's an art dodging those Lord skills.
Even though the Lord technically is blocking it, I mean, this should be a clean defense for the side of NIP Flash, because Diablo and Hades have been pushing mid and bot at the same time. Wait, hold on. They're not. Wait,
this
where's
is
the rest of the team? They're getting canceled. Cortese is purposely canceling all on time. Here they go. Takashi, it's all up to you with the help of King. They almost make the backdoor happen, but the defense is strong, and RRQ Akira now chasing down these backdoor fiends.
Here we go. That's the last shadow he's got. Can they catch him? The burn wasn't outside and gets the kill.
Nicely done. Nicely done. A good call by NIP Flash. They saw the angle, but the punishment that RRQ Akira had, at least they responded in time.
Oh, wow. You see here the veteran wiles of RRQ Akira. They are not an MPL, Brazil, and Latam all-time champion, if not for their late game awareness. Check this out, man. They might be able to at least take another inhibitor?
No.
Maybe threaten an end?
No, they can't end for sure. Cortese has the Feathered Airstrike. He's just spawning. He's just dropped it down just to show them, hey, this is our landing strip. You better not walk any further than this. But at least now they're starting to take some really important smaller objectives, like the purple buff.
From nigh endable to penetrating down mid. Okay, despite being up against the ropes in the corner, bleeding, RRQ Akira still know when they have a kill angle.
You know what? I'm going to be real with you. This game reminds me a lot of M3's last Singaporean representative, EVOS, right? Because it's always that back and forth. They get the lead, then their other opponents get the lead, and then it's just continuously back and forth until it's dead even 16-16. I'm getting a lot of flashbacks.
Hey, EVOS ended M3 at 4th. So that kind of playstyle got him far.
And JPL was part of that roster too. So it's man, history is repeating itself, is it not?
It's the bleeding effect.
It's the bleeding effect.
Are you guys fans of Assassin's Creed? Now, here's the thing. For those of y'all who don't know, JP has been playing since 2017.
He's been around for a very long time. Previously, MPL, MY, and SG used to be one entity before we split up, and even then, JPL was still part of it since Season 1.
JPL, you can call him a precursor. He was there since the even before it all started. JPL, oh no, speak of the devil.
We were about to cast a curse him. I'll be real with you.
we were talking about it a little too much, man.
Yeah, we were teetering on the edge here. But now RRQ Akira. Now I'm scared to talk about RRQ Akira, especially in such a high-stakes match.
Woo.
Like, they need every point they can get here.
Speaking of, all right, this gives us some time to digest what's going on. I just noticed, Gideon, Lord is on stage.
Lord is
That's
on
not what I was going to point out. Tier 1 down bottom for NIP Flash is untouched. I mean, it's standing there with about 2.5 HP, but it's still standing.
I mean, I don't think at this point of time a single Lord take from the side of RRQ Akira is enough, or they just kind of spit on it a little. It'll go down. It's fine.
Spit on that thing.
Spit on that thing, brother.
A minion trips into it, it breaks. I swear. You know what? Sometimes you just need to relieve the pressure a little bit. Maybe that's what RRQ Akira needs to do.
They look at it like a little cyst. They're like, we gotta relieve the pressure. If not, this is just gonna get worse for us.
Quick adjustment, you know. Like, give your chiropractor like a nice coffee and can you just hit this spot real quick? Like, I don't need a full session. we're buddies. We went to high school together. Can you just like, please?
And you're oddly knowledgeable about it. It's like, it's C3 right here.
There it is. You know what I mean? That might open up the map for RRQ Akira.
I think that's the thing, right? Because right now, in terms of play styles, we're coming to a point where grouping together with such an open map from the side of RRQ Akira is the more effective strategy. Because if you get caught slacking here, maybe there's a backdoor opportunity, but it feels like RRQ Akira are pretty on top of things.
Oh wait, now you mention it, for NIP Flash, that might actually be one of their major options. Like, that might be option A right now. Just get the backdoor in because we can't win full frontal team fights anymore.
Exactly.
We're past that point.
Yeah, I mean, even in game number 1, biggest advantage that they had, again, especially, I'm talking about late game here against RRQ Akira, was the fact that they had all of their inhibitors, right? Yep. Now, it's a bit of a change, and you can see a lot of stress on the faces of RRQ Akira, and I can only imagine not as much for NIP Flash, because that doesn't mean they get eliminated if they drop this game.
Yep, well, we're already here. That is RRQ Akira's fate. Their key, as mentioned in day 1 during the opening ceremony, is about to get shattered.
I mean, it's out of our control, unfortunately.
See that little triangle next to the Lord's Trident? Say goodbye.
Oh man, it's gonna be. Oh yeah, but the end of today, they're gonna start handing them over to get eliminated, right? The little keys. I gotta take a picture of that key one day or another. How heavy do you think it is?
About 4 or 5 kilos.
4 or 5 kilos?
I reckon. I mean, they look pretty solid. I'm over exaggerating that. I don't know.
It's probably like 2 towers worth. 2 towers worth. That's like what, 600 gold?
2 pints.
Is that
a weight? Is that a weight? What kind of weight?
I mean, not in Southeast Asia, that's for sure.
0.6 stone.
Don't.
Where do they use stone? But it's a real, folks. It's a real measure.
It's a real measurement. It may not be the SI unit of choice.
Yeah, but it is. Neither here nor there. We're still talking about the matchup here. NIP Flash, arguably in control, but RRQ Akira have been finding a way to win team fights more often despite the pressure placed on this man right here, Sagan. He's had to survive all of these burst damage from Kurt, from Hades, and what is the interaction between Diablo's I'm Offended and when they all get really together?
I mean, he heals a lot, and I think it really boils down to when were they going to get the anti-heal, right? Because Diablo was pretty ahead of the game for a large majority of it until Takashi decided, hey, if I can't beat Diablo, at least I will beat down Hades, I will beat down your mid laner too, Curtizi. Doesn't matter who, if Vanix walks too close, that knock-up strike is going to connect.
Oh, here we go. Back into the matchup. They were in the midst of as close to a Lord dance as we can get here in the current metagame. Lord at about half health, slightly edged over to RRQ Akira. Got that soft reset.
Yeah, I think this is pretty advantageous for the side of NIP Flash. They only have to worry about the mid lane, right? And I was wondering why RRQ Akira didn't try and invade, but here we go. Diablo finds the offended onto Takashi's side, almost gets melted down. Maddox, wait, they're trying to go for the seal once again. They kick. Oh, King is outside of the pit. They're just holding it on. Hades, somebody, can they actually go do it? The Oki Shadow kill is already out. King is dead. They're playing for the kills. We don't need the Lord no longer. Quad Shadow out of there. The maneuvers just to keep him right on the edge. Sagan is still alive. Manages to get on out of there, but the armor fendant from Diablo is really costing them a lot. Gusta with a conceal as well. Dashes away, drops down. The Summon Force, can he outplay it? Comes back up the Winter Crown. Nah, Vanix puts him out of his misery, and that is going to be the GG push. Here comes the rest of NIP Flash to close it out. Their fate is sealed.
A sweep by the Singaporean champions, putting on a showcase of Singaporean fusion, a playstyle made popular by their small but very powerful region, coming up on the world stage now. Thank you. Obrigado. And GG will